somewhat kind of comedic, sort of family-oriented movie about a guy who is a lawyer in a small town, New Jersey. And there's his high school wrestling coach. He's a kind of good member of his community. And he, in his practice, because times are tough and money is tight, he does something slightly illegal. The movie's about all the sort of repercussions that come off of that, most of which are positive for the most part, not just for him, but for all these people around him. So it's got a kind of, you know, it's got a kind of complicated storyline because it's ambiguous for people, but it ends up okay. Well, the whole delicacy even of handling the morality of the issue, I mean, it's immoral what he does, but everything does kind of go okay for everybody. And the interesting thing about it is it's such a subtle thing in theory that he does that I often feel like you can forget as the audience that he even did anything, which is kind of interesting because it's sort of the position he's in. He sort of lets himself forget anything too. You know, so it's interesting. And all of a sudden at the end you remember, oh right, he did something crooked. It was a tricky thing to play with. I mean, it was a constant thing with Tom McCarthy, the director, to not show my hand too much because he's constantly, it's in his mind a lot of the time, but he can't show it. He can't also think he did something. He doesn't, he's convinced himself that he hasn't. And he keeps, part of the way he's convincing himself he hasn't is that he keeps applying it as a good thing to other people around him. You know, so it's like, so he's using it as a good thing. So he's able to kind of channel it into something apparently positive.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a big issue for him. And I say to the kids several times stuff about control, but also I think one of the things that's attractive about the kid and just as a person but as a wrestler is the idea of he's so good at something too, and that sense of control that allows you then to be good at something is really attractive to him. He's lost control a little bit, yeah, and he's stuck, and he doesn't feel like he's good at what he's doing, at anything right now in his life, and he feels like a bit of a failure. So one of the things that's interesting to me in the movie that I only realized when I kind of watched it was how much stuff there is about kind of being a man in the movie. Sort of, you know, being manly and this idea of being aggressive, that you gotta be aggressive. And he really isn't. And part of the thing that's interesting in the movie is that I think part of the message of the movie is that he ends up being okay with not being the guy with the killer instinct. You know, that's okay to not be that guy. You know, to not be the guy who's gotta win all the time. I actually wrestled for one semester in high school, but I would consider myself new, yes. I didn't really remember much about it, and I didn't like it very much when I did it as a kid. But no, it was fascinating, that stuff. You know, we went to some matches, Bobby and Tom and I went to watch some wrestling matches, mostly to watch for me, to watch the coaches, just to see what those guys were like. And talk about, you know, manly stuff. And the difference between the guys who were not, you know, weren't coaching particularly good teams, and then the guys who were super aggressive, alpha male type guys coaching these amazing teams was intense. And we smacked the kids around. You know, it's intense. It's violent and aggressive. I mean, the wrestling aspect of it was just interesting because it's such a kind of marginal sport anyway. And it's so kind of such a weird subculture that I like that kind of thing in the movie when I get to sort of just be around some weird. I did like a boxing movie, I got to hang out with a bunch of boxers, and that was, you know, weird and interesting. And I did a comic book movie with the comic book guy Harvey and Picar. You know, I hang out with these weird illustrators who live in Cleveland. I mean, just weird subcultures are interesting. But also, I really liked the way in which the movie, the thing I was most impressed with and taken with, and I still am with the movie when I see it now, is that Tom manages to give a portrait of American suburban life that is not commented on. It's not sentimentalized, and it's not made grotesque, and it's not condescended to either way, I don't think. And I thought that was kind of interesting. I mean, most of the time it's a very tricky subject for Americans to make movies about. You go one way or the other with it, you know? And he didn't. I think he somehow manages to just present it fairly objectively and just tell you a story without it being commented on, which I thought was kind of amazing. Even back in school, no, I never did anything with him. And, which is odd. I mean, he was just a buddy of mine, you know? So it was funny I was kind of hoping someday he'd want to put me in one of his movies. And when he asked me to do this, I was really excited to do it. But it was funny, because I was sort of treating it like, this will be funny to work with Tom, and I'm dead fucking serious taskmaster. And I was like, wow, this isn't funny. You're not being like the Tom that I know. You're not like, it was great. It was a really cool way to see my friend in a totally different way.